Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the whole house, the whole Ba'it of Yashar'al, all 12 tribes. Wherever your feet are touching the soil on this most Kadush Yom, a day in which is a sign, a seal, and a mark of the everlasting covenant that our Master Yahuwah has made with his people. Shabbat Shalom to the elder brother, Yahudah. Shabbat Shalom to the younger brother, Ephraim. Shabbat Shalom to the former stranger, the former foreigner who was formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant, but having now received the Ruach of adoption, and whereby now becoming adopted sons and daughters, whereby having received the Ruach HaKadosh, who is the Ruach of the Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, and whereby having been engrafted into the olive tree, who is Yashar'al, who is Yahushua HaMashiach, and whereby now becoming a fellow citizen of Yashar'al, and whereby now becoming a fellow partaker of the same everlasting covenant and promise and inheritance that was given to Yashar'al and to Yashar'al alone. Shabbat Shalom to you, all 12 tribes, wherever your feet are touching the soil on this most Kadush Yom. Shabbat Shalom to the elder brother Yahudah, to the younger brother Ephraim, to the former stranger, to the former foreigner, who has now received the Ruach of adoption, and who is now have been reconciled back to the bond of covenant, back into the everlasting covenant with Yahuwah, our Habinu, our Father. Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. To those of you, once again, who are on YouTube, once again, we're grateful that the Master Yahuwah has sent you our way to share and to celebrate on this most Kadush Yom with us, to partake of this Shabbat Yom with Yahuah's remnant. We're grateful that he has sent you this way. We do not take it for granted. No, by no means do we take this for granted. It is a great honor, it is a great privilege, and it is a great responsibility. And we are humbled that the Master Yahuwah has sent you our way. For those of you, again, who are on YouTube, who are going to hear this teaching or this message later on, once again, if you would desire to join us live, you may find our contact information. It is located within the channel description. You will find an email address there that you may email us to contact us if you have a desire to join us live. Nevertheless, we welcome you once again to Yahuah's Remnant Shabbat Gathering. I am Dawood Ban Yahuwah, and this is my Aisha Ashayah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom. Barak Yahuwah to the whole house, the whole Ba'if of Yashar'al, all 12 tribes, and to the stranger who has attached himself to us. Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. This is a Mu'adah, this is a Mu'adah. This is an appointed season. This is an appointed time. And this appointed season, this appointed time is quickly, hear him, it is quickly coming to a close. It is quickly coming to an end. This appointed season, this appointed time is quickly coming to an end. If you have any inkling of discernment, you would have noticed by now that the days have sped up. The days have sped up tremendously. And we are now hastening towards an appointed time, towards an appointed end. And so this season, this Mu'adah, this appointed time is quickly coming to an end. The proverbial doors of the ark are slowly closing. They are slowly closing. And the Master has sent his servant by to proclaim to the four corners of the earth, to proclaim to the four winds, to get on board this ark while there is still time, to repent, to teshubah, to turn from your unclean ways, to turn from your filth, to get on board this ark of the covenant, to to enter into the bond of covenant with the Master Yahuwah right now in this season, to be washed right now while there is still time. The Master leading up not only to this teaching, but leading up to Shabua'ut, has sent out warnings to his people. Indeed, he has spoken through his servant that we are indeed to wash now or to wash later, but indeed we're going to be washed. We are going to be washed. And so that was a series of warnings, a series of messages leading up to Shabua'ut, the renewal of our wedding vows, the wedding feast, in which the day in which the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah, was poured out, began to be poured out upon our flesh. The Master gave us further understanding in that if we have not received this breath, if we have not received wind, then listen, we are still separated from him. And indeed, this is the definition, the true definition of death. Death is to be separated from Yahuwah. Yes, it is. When breath leaves your body, when wind leaves your body collapses to the soil. Your body dies and it returns to the soil from which it came. Yes, the body without breath, without wind, without Ruach, it dies. Indeed, the body without the Ruach, the breath, the Ruach HaKadosh of Yahuwah Al-Yun is dead. It is dead. The Master has spoken to us in that he is only coming for the living in this season, because he's not the Elohim of the dead, he is the Elohim of the living. And he is only coming for the living in this season. Those whom he has sealed, those whom he has sealed with his breath. These and these alone is he coming to retrieve, to redeem from the earth, because indeed in accordance with his righteous Torah, he only redeems firstborn sons. And we are only his sons if indeed we have been born from him, if we have indeed been reborn from him. And only in this season which is quickly coming to an end, only those he is coming to redeem from the earth. And so he sent out an urgent message leading up to Shabua'ut. And now 3 weeks in our rear view, Shabua'ut is behind us now. And indeed, some received his breath. Some received the breath of life. Some received Ruach. Some received wind. Some were reborn from above. Indeed, some were. Some were. And some remain dead. Even now, under the sound of my voice, the majority of this earth, and there are 7+ billion people on this flat plain earth. The majority of them are dead. The majority of them are dead men and dead women walking. The majority of them are dead, even those of the so-called house of Yahudah. Many of them are dead. Many of them have not received the breath of life, wind, Ruach, and they are dead depending on their genealogy. They are dead depending on their linen garments and their linen turbans and their understanding of the Abbaite tongue, thinking that it is a pure tongue. It is not a pure tongue. He has not restored a pure tongue yet. You're concerned with the outer, and you're filled with dead men bones. Your throat is as an open grave. You're dead because you refuse to receive breath. You refuse to receive life. But there is still an open window for all who have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to understand. There is still now an open window, but that window is closing. Yes, indeed, the window is open and there is wind, there is breath coming through that window even now. But soon, shortly, that window of opportunity is going to be closed, and he's going to remove his breath, his wind from the earth. And you're going to be left here with the rest of the dead people to be washed and purged and cleansed and the fires of the great distress. But he sent me by this day to speak to those who receive breath, who receive wind, who receive Ruach, to remind you now that you have a great responsibility, Yahudah. That you are his chosen servant. You are his chosen people. You are his trustworthy servant. To walk this servant's path and to serve. To be a servant of reconciliation. In this short window of time, in this appointed season, in this muadah, to be a servant of reconciliation. And to walk in your calling. Calling his people out of darkness across the four corners of the REMNANT. Calling them out of darkness, showing compassion on some and snatching some even out of the fire, kicking and screaming on board the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, you have a great responsibility, Yahudah, if you've received breath. To be a light in the midst of the Gentiles. To be a living menorah. To be a living Torah. To show the people what it looks like to walk in righteousness. What it looks like to be a living Torah. What it looks like, Barak Yahuah. What it looks like to have living water flowing from your belly. To be a fruit-bearing tree during a time of famine. A water-producing rock during a time of drought. And a light-producing lamp during a time of darkness, Yahudah. Indeed, indeed, we must do the work of our Father while it is still day, because night is quickly approaching when no man can work. And if you are not found well doing, Yahudah, when he comes, he has these words for you. Bind that wicked, lazy servant hand and foot. Cast him into the outer darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. If he's breathed this breath into you, you now have an awesome and important responsibility to be a servant of reconciliation in this short window of time, so that the master perhaps will use you as a servant of reconciliation to draw people out of darkness into his marvelous light and to bring them on board his Ark of the Covenant to perhaps save them from the hour of trial. To perhaps save them from the hour of trial. You have no excuse. If you receive this breath, you have no excuse. You have no more excuse. He's calling you now to walk in your calling and to build this house, lest you hear those words. Bind this wicked servant hand and foot. You'll hear those words, but indeed, if you don't walk in your calling, you're going to hear these words. You're not going to hear these words, rather. Well done, my good and trustworthy servant. To hear those words, you must serve. You must be a servant of reconciliation, and you must walk in your calling. You must walk in your calling if indeed you've received his breath. But he has sent me by this day. This day. If you're taking notes, he sent me by this day to warn his people and to remind his people that in order to walk in your calling, you've got to be an adult. You've got to be grown. You've got to be an adult, because to walk in your calling means to walk in Ruach. You see, if you walk in this, you're a child. You're a child. Not only are you dead, but you're a child. You're a child. This walk ain't for children. This walk is for grown folk. In order to walk in your calling, if you receive breath, you've got to walk as one grown. You cannot walk in your calling as a child. Children, the flesh, it wants to throw temper tantrums. It wants to roll all over the floor because children want what they want. Don't they want what they want, little one? And they have no understanding of anything else other than they want what they want. Is that correct? Is that not what the flesh does? It wants what it wants. It just wants what it wants, like a child. This walk ain't for children. To walk in your calling, you've got to be an adult. Oh, the master, he's going somewhere with this. He's going somewhere. To walk in your calling, you've got to be an adult. You've got to be an adult. And so if you're taking notes, the title of this teaching, the title of this message is Searching for the Ancient Path, Part 54. Walk in thy calling. Walk in thy calling. Listen, Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. You see now, Yahudah is the elder brother. He is the elder Ak. Yes, he is. He's the grown up. He's the one that is grown. He is the one that is walking in Ruach. He's the elder brother. Ephraim. Yeah. Ephraim, the one who's walking according to the flesh. He's going to be washed and cleansed in the fires of the great tribulation. Then, when he comes out, he's going to be grown. After having gone through what he's going to go through. But Ephraim is the younger brother. He's the younger Ak. He's the youngest son of Yahudah, who is the 11th born. Ephraim is the younger son. He's the child. He's the child. If you're acting like a child, you better ask yourself, am I Ephraim or am I Yahudah? Ephraim is a child. He's still walking in his flesh. Yahudah is grown. He's the elder Ak, and he goes first. There ain't nothing new under the sun. Yahudah goes first. This is the text. It's in the text. It's written that Yahudah goes first. The master is coming to get Judah first. He's coming to get Judah first. And then he's coming to get Ephraim. But Ephraim is the elder brother. He is grown. And if you're one of them who is on YouTube, who is boasting in your genealogy, calling yourself Yahudah, a true Yahudim walks in Ruach. He does not walk in the flesh. I'm reminded of the words of the Messiah speaking to Nachdaman, commonly called Nicodemus, when he said to him, who was a Yahudim, truly, truly I say to you, Nachdaman, unless one is born from above, he cannot see the reign of Elohim. You ain't going to get in, feel your flesh, feel your wicked, nasty, disgusting, unclean flesh. This wicked flesh must be put to death, and you must be reborn. You must become an adult. He is coming to get adults. He's coming to get adults. Many of you are still walking as children. I need you to turn real quick, little one, to Galatians chapter 5. Don't panic. It's not part of that. But turn to Galatians chapter 5 for me, please, and begin at verse 19. Some of you are still walking as children, calling yourself a Yahudim. Galatians 5. Begin at verse 19. You're still walking as children. The master is coming back for the elder brother. 144,000. This is Judah. This is Judah. This is Yahudah. He's coming back for Ephraim after the great distress. But he's coming back for a man. He's coming back for a man. As 600,000 men on foot left Egypt, he's coming back for 144,000 men walking, who are adults, plus those who are adjoined to us. He ain't coming back for children. The children are going to be left in the fires of the great distress. See, you don't have to discipline an adult. See, you raise up a child in the way it should go, and when they grow older, they shall not depart. You see, the chastisement, the punishing rod is for a child. That's for Ephraim. And this punishing rod is coming in the form of the great distress. But if you are a man, Yahudah, he's coming for you. He's coming for you to save you from the hour of trial. And it is Yahudah he is calling upon in this season to walk as men. Walk in your calling. Walk according to the Ruach. Walk in your calling. Be a living Torah. Be a living menorah. Be a light in the midst of the nations, to draw the nations out of darkness into his marvelous light, that perhaps they may be saved from the hour of trial, from the proverbial flood waters that are soon to come upon this earth. Indeed, this season is coming to a close. Galatians 5, little one, begin at verse 19, please.
And the works of the flesh are well known.
Come on, little one.
Which are these?
Yes.
Adultery.
Yes.
Whoring.
Whoring.
Uncleanness.
Uncleanness.
Indecency.
Indecency.
Idolatry.
Idolatry.
Drug sorcery.
Drug sorcery.
Hatred.
Yes.
Quarrels.
Yes.
Jealousies.
Jealousies or envies. Yes.
Fits of rage.
Fits of rage.
Selfish ambitions.
Selfish ambitions.
Dissensions.
Dissensions.
Factions.
Factions.
Envy.
Envy.
Murders.
Murders.
Drunkenness.
Drunkenness.
Wild parties.
Wild parties.
And the like of which I forewarn you.
Yes.
Even as I also said before. That those who practice such as these.
Yes.
Shall not inherit the reign of Elohim.
Shall not inherit the reign of Elohim. Not only that, but you're not coming to Zion. You ain't coming. Some of you are operating in envy now, and uncleanness. You're throwing temper tantrums like the child you are. Like the little child you are. You're throwing temper tantrums. Yes, the flesh, it wants what it wants. And it throws temper tantrums just like a little child. But one full grown does not behave this way. One full grown behaves this way. Come on, keep reading, little one.
But the fruit of the root is
yes, come on.
Love,
yes,
joy,
yes,
shalom, patience,
yes,
kindness,
yes,
goodness,
yes,
trustworthiness, gentleness,
yes,
self-control.
Yes.
Against such there is no Torah.
Against such there is no Torah. He's coming back for his firstborn. He's coming back for Yahudah. Yes, he's coming back for Yahudah, of whom a scepter shall not pass from him. The scepter shall not pass from him, nor a lawgiver from beneath his feet. He's coming for the elder Ak, the one that is grown first. And you can't walk this walk that he's calling us to in this season without being full grown. This ain't for children. If you're a child, that Broadway's for you. Ephraim, right now, who ain't listening, he's stiff-necked. He's on that broad path. That's not for Yahudim. That's not for Yahudim. This narrow path, this servant's path, this path is for Yahudim. And he sent me by to speak to you this day. He sent me by to speak to you this day. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little, walking, not calling. Yahudah goes first, the elder brother, the one who is grown, the one who is an adult, the one who does not need the chastising rod upon his back, the one who is an adult, who is walking this path, this servant's path of reconciliation, which is reserved for men. It is reserved for men and those attached to us, because I ain't going nowhere. Make no mistake, I ain't going nowhere without my co-heir. I go nowhere without my co-heir. No, she is my co-heir, her and I are Akkad, and I go nowhere without. But he's coming back for men. Get the understanding. He's coming back for men. He's coming back for men. Line upon line, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, searching for the ancient path, part 44, walking, not calling, adult, Yahudah. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Give us a precept, little one.
We have Matthew 15, 21 to 28.
Matthew chapter 15. Matthew, Matak Yahu, chapter 15. Verses 21 through 28. Matak Yahu, Matthew, chapter 15. Verses 21 to 28. Matthew, Matak Yahu, chapter 21. chapter 15 rather, verses 21 through 28. Beginning at verse 21. Come on, read for us, little one.
And Yahushua went out from there and withdrew to the parts of Zur and Zadun. And see, a woman of Canaan came from those borders, and cried out to him, saying, Have compassion on me, O master, son of Daud. My daughter is badly demon possessed. But he did not answer her a word. And his taught ones came and asked him, saying, Send her away, because she cries after us. And he answering said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. But she came and was bowing to him, saying, Master, help me. And he answering said, It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs.
It's not good to take the children's bread and give it to the little dogs. Read.
But she said, Yes, master. For even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. And Yahushua answering said to her, O woman, your belief is great. Let it be to you as you desire. And her daughter was healed from that hour.
Barak Yahuah. Barak Yahuah. Here's a woman who had a demon-possessed daughter and who was desperate for deliverance. And she begged the master to deliver her child. And he said, It is not meet to give the children's bread to the little dogs. But she said, Yes, master. But even the dogs eat the crumbs from the children's table. The master wants you to understand that where the Ruach is, there is freedom. Where the Ruach is, there is freedom. It was the Ruach who set her daughter free. It was the Ruach who delivered her daughter. The Ruach is the children's bread. The Ruach HaKadosh is the children's bread. But many of you, just like our ancestors, don't want this bread. You are asking the question, what is that round substance? What is that? What is that? What is that man? What is that manna? What is that round substance on the ground? Did we not eat better in Masraim? Did we not sit around pots of meat? Did we not have cucumbers and onions? And did we not have the best of the soil in Masraim? You weren't satisfied with the children's bread. And you understand that without bread, without giving children food, they don't grow, do they? They don't grow. They remain children. They don't grow. They wither and they die. If you don't give a child food, if you don't give a child substance, that child is going to wither and die. Keep on, Yahudah. Keep on rejecting the children's bread, which is for you. It's for you. The children's bread is for you. Keep on rejecting it. He who is doing filthiness continue to do filthiness. He who is doing wrong continue to do more wrong. But he who is doing righteousness can do more righteousness. And behold, he is coming quickly. And his reward is with him, to reward each according to his works. The children's bread is for you. You cannot grow without the children's bread. You cannot become an adult without the children's bread. And this walk, this path, is for those who have received the children's bread. This ancient path, this narrow path, this servant's road is for those who have received the children's bread and who have grown up and who have become strong. Who have become strong and who have become servants of reconciliation, fit and worthy of use in this Muadah to draw the nations out of darkness into its marvelous light. Line by line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, walking not calling. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah is the elder brother. He is the one that is grown. Come on, give us another precept, little one.
Zechariah 8:23.
Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. Come on, get some understanding. Judah goes first. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. The grown son goes first. The one who is found well-doing, walking in his calling. Zechariah chapter 8, Zechariah, for all of you who love the Abbaite tongue. Zechariah or Zechariah, chapter 8, verse 23. Come on, read verse 23 for us, little one.
Thus said Yahuwah.
Thus says Yahuwah Shabbat. Come on.
In those days,
yes,
10 men from all languages.
In these days, 10 men from all languages. Read.
Of the nations take hold.
Take hold of who, little one?
Yes, they shall take hold of the edge of the garment of a man.
Yes.
A Yahudi saying.
A Yahudi. Come on.
Let us go with you.
Let us go with you. Why, little one?
For we have heard that Elohim is with you.
Oh, Yahudah goes first. All you nations, you worship what you do not know. We worship what we know because deliverance is of the Yahudi. Come, you nations. Come with us and let us go to Zion. Come and let us go to Zion. Look at the light that's coming from us. Look, listen, receive some of the living water that is receding from our bellies. And perhaps be saved from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon this earth. Grab the garment of a Yahudi. Yes, grab the garment of a Yahudi, of a grown man. Grab the garment of a Yahudi. Because the Master has shown us the way. Come to Zion with us. Come to Zion with us. And this is a challenge for you who call yourself Yahudim. Yet are walking as a Gentile. Yet are walking as Ephraim, as Ephraim. Yet are walking as a child. Throwing your temper tantrums as a child does. Wanting what you want. Just like a child. You're not coming to Zion. Only adult men are coming to Zion. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Line by line. Precept upon precept. Here a little. There a little. Walk in thy calling, grown man. Yahudah goes first. Come on, give us another precept, little one.
Zechariah 12, 1 through 9.
Yes. Zechariah, which chapter, little one?
12, 1 through 9.
Zechariah chapter 12, verses 1 through 9. Zechariah chapter 12, verses 1 through 9. Yahudah walks according to Ruach. He is grown. He is eating the children. He is eating the children's bread. And he is grown strong in Ruach. He is a man. He is not a child. Walking in his calling. You cannot walk in your calling being a child. All the previous teaching the Master has brought through his servant with respect to walking in your calling. These were men, with the exception of Dawood, who received the anointing as a child and began to walk in his calling as a child. The rest of them were men, full grown, walking in their calling. Walking in their calling. And if you've received the bread of life, if you've received the breath of life, Yahudah, you are now expected to walk in your calling, to be a man and walk in your calling. Being a living light, a living Torah, a living menorah amongst the nations. Drawing the nations out of darkness into its marvelous light. And perhaps saving them from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon this earth. Soon. That window is closing. The season is coming to an end. The doors of the proverbial ark are closing. Zechariah chapter 12, verses 1 through 9. Beginning at verse 1, read, little one.
The message of the word of Yahuwah against Yasharal. Yahuwah stretching out the heavens and laying the foundation of the earth, and forming the root of man within him, declares, see, I am making Jerusalem a cup of reeling to all the people all around, and also against Yahudah. It is in the siege against Jerusalem. And in that day it shall be that I make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. And lifting it are severely injured. And all the nations of the earth shall be gathered against it. In that day declares Yahuwah. I strike every horse with bewilderment. And its rider with madness.
Come on.
And on the house of Yahudah,
come on,
I open my eyes. But every horse of the peoples I strike with blindness. And the leaders of Yahudah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are a strength to me. Through Yahuwah of hosts their Elohim.
Come on.
In that day I make the leaders of Yahudah like a fire pot among trees, and like a torch of fire in the sheaves.
Hey, come on.
And they shall consume all the peoples all around. On the right and on the left. And Jerusalem shall dwell again in her own place. In Jerusalem. And Yahuwah shall save the tents of Yahudah first. So that the commonliness of the house of Daud and the commonliness of the inhabitants of Yasharel would not become greater than that of Yahudah. In that day Yahuwah shall shield the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the feeble among them in that day shall be like Daud, and the house of Daud like Elohim, like the messenger of Yahuwah before them. And it shall be in that day that I seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem.
Oh, Barak Yahuwah, get some understanding. There is nothing new under the sun. As the master came and got our ancestors from Egypt, he's coming to get Judah. He's coming to get Yahudah, as Yahudah goes first. And as our ancestors left Egypt and went to his Kadush mountain, Mount Sinai, Mount Sinai is given according to the flesh. He is coming to get Yahudah, to bring us to his Kadush mountain, to Mount Zion. From Mount Zion, Yahudah is going back to the land first. Yahudah is going home first. It is written in Baruch that in those days, only the people who are found in that land will be protected. Yahudah is going home first. After he brings us to his mountain. No different than when he brought our ancestors to Mount Sinai. From there, although it took them 40 years, from there they entered into the promised land. Nothing new under the sun. After the great distress, Ephraim is coming home. But Yahudah goes first. You don't have to believe me. Line by line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. The master is going to establish this, that Yahudah is coming out of here first. Going to his Kadush mountain. Going home first. These are grown folk, though. These are grown folk. Then Ephraim will come out of the nations, line by line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. But if you're not walking in your calling, and he does not find you well doing, particularly if you've received breath, if you've received Ruach, if you've received the children's bread. If you're walking according to your flesh, he's going to leave you to your flesh along with the rest of the dead folk to suffer the fires of the great tribulation. He's calling you, Yahudah, in this season to walk according to your calling, to walk as grown men, to walk according to your calling and no longer as children, throwing temper tantrums, but walking according to your calling. This season is too important for you to walk according to your flesh. If you've received breath, walk accordingly. And let him use you as a servant of reconciliation, as a light amongst the Gentiles, drawing men out of darkness into his marvelous light. Give us another precept, little one.
Revelation 3, 7 through 12.
Revelation chapter 3, verses 7 through 12. Walk in that calling. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Revelation chapter 3, verses 7 through 12. Revelation chapter 3, verses 7 through 12. Beginning at verse 7. Come on, read, little one.
And to the messenger of the assembly in Philadelphia write.
Yes.
He who is Kadosh.
Yes.
He who is true.
Yes.
He who has the key of Daoud.
Yes.
He who opens and no one shuts.
Yes.
And shuts and no one opens.
Yes.
Says this.
Uh-huh.
I know your works.
I know your works. I know your service, Yahudah. He's talking to Yahudah. Yes, he is. Read.
See, I have set before you an open door.
Uh-huh.
And no one is able to shut it.
Yes.
That you have little power.
Yes.
Yet have guarded my word.
Yet have guarded my word. Read.
And have not denied my name.
Yes.
See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Hashatan.
See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Hasatan. Read.
Who say they are Yahudim
Who
and are
say
not.
they are Yahudim and are not. Read.
But lie.
But lie.
See, I am making them come and worship before your feet.
I am coming them to come and worship before the feet of a true Yahudim. Come on.
And to know that I have loved you.
And to know that I have loved you. Read.
Because you have guarded my word of endurance.
Because you have guarded my word of endurance, Yahudah. Read.
I also shall guard you from the hour of trial.
I also shall guard you from the hour of trial. Read.
Which shall come upon all the world. To those who dwell on the earth.
Yes.
See, I am coming speedily.
Listen. See, I am coming speedily, Yahudah. Read.
Hold what you have, that no one take your crown.
Hold what you have, that no one take your crown.
He who overcomes, I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my Elohim.
Yes.
And he shall by no means go out. And I shall write on him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, the renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my Elohim, my renewed name.
This is Yahudah. This is not Ephraim. This is not Ephraim. This is Yahudah. These are Yahudim, whom those who say they are Yahudim are going to bow before our feet. Yahudah goes first. These are not my words. These are the words of the master. In fact, he spoke these words. You can put that in quotations. He spoke that word. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Then Ephraim, that wayward child, that prodigal son, that wayward child who needs some discipline, that wayward child who is acting like a child, who is still throwing temper tantrums, who is still walking according to his flesh, he will have to endure some discipline and the fires of the great distress. But there are others, Yahudah. There are others who are yet to come, that we must now walk in this narrow window of time. We must walk in our calling as adult men, to draw in whatever calling and talent that he has given you, to call them out of darkness into his marvelous light, on board the ark of the covenant before the doors are shut. Read, little one.
Revelation 7, 1 through 8.
Revelation 7, verses 1 through 8. Revelation 7, verses 1 through 8. Yahudah, the assembly at Philadelphia, he wants to keep from the hour of trial. Yahudah goes first. He wants to bring us to his Kadosh mountain. No different than before. No different than Mount Sinai. But those who went there were according to the flesh. Those who come to Mount Sinai, come to Mount Zion, are those who are according to Ruach. These are grown folk. These are grown folk. And Yahudah is going home first. Yahudah is going to the land first. We're going home first. Hold what you got, lest you lose your crown. Walk as an adult and not as a child, walking according to your flesh. Revelation 7, verses 1 through 8. Beginning at verse 1. Come on, read, little one.
And after this, I saw 4 messengers standing at the 4 corners of the earth.
Yes.
Holding the 4 winds of the earth.
Yes.
that the wind should not blow on the earth,
yes,
nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Yes.
And I saw another messenger coming up from the rising of the sun, holding the seal of the living Elohim. And he cried with a loud voice to the four messengers,
yes,
to whom it was given to harm the earth and the sea, saying,
yes,
do not harm the earth, nor the sea,
yes,
nor the trees,
yes,
until we have sealed the servants of our Elohim upon their foreheads
with the Ruach HaKadosh. These are grown folk, firstborn sons. These are grown folk. These are grown folk who have received the children's bread and who are fully grown and strong, walking in their calling, having been found well-doing, having been found operating in their calling. These are grown folk. This is Yahudah, as Yahudah goes first. But Yahudah must go first to protect and to uphold the comeliness of Dawood. Barak Yahuwah. Come on, read, little one.
And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000, sealed out of all the tribes of the children of Yasharal. Of the tribe of Yahudah, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Rabuan, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Gad, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Asher, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Naphtali, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Manasseh, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Shamaun, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Lewi, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Yashakar, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Zabulun, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Yahusaph, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Benjamin, 12,000 were sealed.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Again, get some understanding. The land of Yahudah was comprised of the tribe of Yahudah and the tribe of Benjamin and some of the Levites of the Luim. Yet everybody in the land of Yahudah were called Yahudim. Thus, everyone who is attached to Yahudah here are Yahudim. Everyone who is going home to the land of Yahudah are Yahudim. Irrespective of tribe, you are a Yahudim. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah will go first. The tents of Yahudah are going to be saved first. And then Ephraim will come out of the nations. Line by line, precept upon precept. Again, get some understanding. Yahudah is the elder brother. Ephraim is the younger brother. Yahudah is the grown one. Ephraim is the young one who is going to have to be disciplined, who is going to have to be chastised so that he turns from his wickedness, so that he turns from his unrighteousness back to the righteous Torah. He's the one, the child, that must be disciplined. Yahudah is the elder. He's grown, having received the children's bread, walking in Ruach, not walking as a child, walking in his calling, being a light amongst the Gentiles, being a light amongst the Gentiles and receiving a reward, having little strength and having little power, yet guarding the word of endurance and not denying our master's name, and being kept from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon the earth. Indeed, the season is coming to an end. Read, little one.
Revelation 14, 1 through 5.
Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. The master's going somewhere. Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. Line upon line, precept upon precept, walking not calling. Yahudah goes first. The grown one goes first. The one who is walking according to Ruach, who is taking the children's bread, and who is who has grown strong, and who is walking according to Ruach, walking in his calling, being a servant of reconciliation, being found well-doing when the master comes to gather Yahudah first, to bring us to his Kadush mountain, and then to bring us home to our land. Come on, read, little one.
And I looked and saw a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written upon their forehead. And I heard a voice out of the heaven.
Here again I'm missing the words. I can't get the word, little one. Is a pattern. Barak Yahuwah. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. Is a pattern. And the pattern is having the Father's name written upon their foreheads, which began in Revelation 3 and again in Revelation 7 and now in Revelation 14. This is Yahudah who have received the children's bread. Come on, little one, continue.
Like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder.
Yes.
And I heard the sound of harpers playing their harps. Harps, and they sang a renewed song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the elders. And no one was able to learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. They are those who were not defiled with women, for they are maidens. They are those following the Lamb wherever he leads them on.
Those who are led by the Ruach, these are the sons of Elohim. Read.
They were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to Elohim and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no falsehood, for they are blameless before the throne of Elohim.
Yes, Barak Yahuwah, please get the context. Please get the context. It's happening all over again. The only difference is, as 12 tribes came out of Egypt the first time, as the whole house, rather, let me put it this way, as the whole house of Yahudah came out of Egypt the first time and went to Mount Sinai. That's not going to happen this time. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first, and we're not going to Mount Sinai, which is according to the flesh. We are going to Mount Zion. We're going to Mount Zion to worship our Master. We're going there, and from there, he's bringing us to our land. Yahudah goes first into the land. It's happening all over again, with the exception that now Yahudah goes first. Grown folk, those who have eaten the children's bread, who were born from above, they go first. Ephraim, when he comes in, then he will be grown. Because when he comes in, clean water is going to be sprinkled upon him. The heart of stone is going to be removed and replaced with a heart of flesh. And he's going to then put his Ruach in him, and then cause him to obey his righteous Torah. Then Ephraim will be grown. Hear him. To be grown is to receive Ruach and to walk according to Ruach. To be a child is to walk according to the flesh. Then Ephraim will be grown. Grown folk. 600,000 men left the first time. 600,000 men were counted. 144,000 men are counted this time. Grown folk are going. And those who are joined and attached to us. Grown folk. Children throwing temper tantrums and walking according to the flesh are not going to Mount Zion. Not this time. Not this time. I can recall being a child and wanting to hang out with my older nephews and wanting to hang out with my older brothers, and I was a child. Being a child, I wanted to go so badly. I wanted to go so badly with them. They would go to concerts and different venues, and I wanted to go so badly. And at that time, they called me Little Buddy. They affectionately called me Little Buddy. And I would ask to go, and they would respond, "Not this time, Little Buddy. Not this time, Little Buddy. Not this time, Ephraim. Not this time, Little Buddy. You can't come to meet Mount Zion this time. But you'll come. You'll eventually come. After you've been chastised a while, you'll come then. But not this time, Little Buddy. This is for the older brother. This is for the elder brother. This is for the grown-ups. You can't come this time. You can't come to this party this time. This song, in which no one else can sing, this party is only given to the elder brother. 144,000. You can't come this time, Little Buddy. But the good news is, Little Buddy, you don't have to remain a Little Buddy. You can receive breath. You can receive wind, and you can get on board this ark too. If you choose not to remain stiff-necked But I ain't here to talk to you. I'm not here to talk to you especially, little buddy. I'm here to talk to the older brother. Those of you who've said you have received breath, you have received wind, you have received the children's bread. He has sent me by to tell you, to warn you, that if you don't walk in your calling, if you don't walk as an adult, you're going to be left with little buddy, with Ephraim, to be chastised with his rod of correction, so that you afterwards can become full grown and be invited. And be invited perhaps to the wedding feast. Perhaps to the wedding feast. But this party, this Mount Zion party, is only for the elder brother. It's for grown-ups. And those joined to us. I have to keep making that distinction. And those who are attached to us. But you must walk in your calling. You must be an adult and no longer walk as a child. And do what the master has called you to do. If Yahudah goes first to the mountain to worship the master, and then into the land. Another precept to this, another witness to this, we don't have this here, is Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. And you can also witness that with Baruch, with the people being found in the land at that time are the only ones who are going to be protected from the hour of trial. From the hour of trial. This is Judah. This is Yahudah, whom those who say they are Yahudim and are not are going to recognize what a true Yahudim looks like. All nations, this is the hour in which 10 of you ought to grab a hold of a Yahudi and understand that the Master Yahuwah has shown us the way, so that perhaps you are saved now from the hour of trial which is soon to come upon this earth. Come on, read for us, little one.
We have Genesis 48, 1 through 19.
Genesis, Barashif, chapter 48. Barashif, Genesis, chapter 48.
What do you think?
Mute your mics, please. Genesis, Barashif, chapter 48, verses 1 through 19. Verses 1 through 19. Oh, come with me to Zion. Come on. Genesis, Barashif, chapter 48. Verses 1 through 19, beginning at verse 1. Come on, read, little one.
And after these events, it came to be that it was said to Yahushua, see, your father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Yaakov was told, see, your son Yahushua is coming to you. And Yasharal strengthened himself and sat up on the bed. And Yaakov said to Yahushua, Al Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said to me, see, I am making you fruitful, and shall increase you, and make of you an assembly of peoples, and give this land to your seed after you as an everlasting possession. And now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Mitzrayim, before I came to you in Mitzrayim, are mine. As Ra'aban and Shamaum, they are mine. Your offspring whom you shall bring forth after them are yours, and let them be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. And when I came from Padan, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath. And I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is by Lakam. And Yasharal saw Yahusuf's sons and said, who are these? And Yahusuf said to his father, they are my sons whom Elohim has given me in this place. And he said, please bring them to me and let me bless them. And the eyes of Yasharal were dim with age, and he was unable to see. And he drew them near him and kissed them and embraced them. And Yasharal said to Yahusuf, I had not thought to see your face, but see, Elohim has also shown me your seed. So Yahusuf brought them from between his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth. And Yahusuf took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Yasharal's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand toward Yasharah's right hand, and brought them near to him. And Yasharah stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger.
Who was the younger boy? He's the younger. He's the younger one. He's the child. He's the younger one. He ain't coming this time. Little buddy ain't coming this time. Only the elder one, the grown one, is coming to this party. The one who received the children's bread and who is walking in his calling, being a light unto the nations, a light unto the Gentiles, drawing them in this Muadah, in this appointed time, in this season in which the window is closing, in which that wind which is blowing through the window is getting ready to stop because the window is getting ready to close. The one who is walking in his calling as the proverbial doors of the ark are closing, calling men out of darkness into his marvelous light. The elder brother, the grown one, is going to this party. The younger one, little buddy, can't come this time. He can't come this time. He's walking in his flesh still. He's walking in his flesh, and if you're walking in your flesh, you're a child. You ain't grown yet. You're a child. You're a little child if you're walking in your flesh. Yahudah is full grown. He's full grown, walking in Ruach, and he goes first. He goes first. But the younger one, the child, Ephraim, he ain't coming yet. He can't come yet. He's got to be, as a child, he's got to be disciplined a little more. He's got to be disciplined in the fires of the great tribulation. He's got to be chastised a little bit more to drive the folly out of him. To drive all that folly, to drive all that wickedness and evil out of him. To cause him to forsake his idols, to forsake his flesh, to forsake his wicked ways, and to turn and to come back to Torah with all of his heart, mind, and strength. This won't happen until he's disciplined and chastised in the fires of the great tribulation, because he's young. Because he's young, you see. He's young, he's a child. And you can't spare the rod with them young ones. Sometimes, you know, the older they get, the more stiff-necked they get, and the harder you have to chastise them. Ephraim must be chastised because you're stiff-necked, little buddy. You're stiff-necked. You want to walk according to your flesh and not as an adult. Some of you think you're grown. How many of you, little one, you remember when you got a little age on you? How many of y'all, you remember when you got a little age on you, and as they say down south, you started to smell yourself? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Some of them walking amongst us, they smelling themselves, thinking that they grown, but they still children. The fruit shows it. You're still children. You're still walking as a child, throwing your little temper tantrums. All on Facebook, throwing your temper tantrums, and on YouTube, and wherever somebody will listen to you, throwing your little temper tantrum. You're a child. You're just smelling yourself. You're not full grown, but little buddy, when Master finishes placing his rod strategically upon your back, you're going to grow up. You're going to grow up. Some of you are going to grow up. Some of you are. Some of you are not. Come on, read, little one.
And his left hand on Manasseh's head, consciously directing his hands. For Manasseh was the firstborn.
Yes.
And he blessed Jehoshaphat and said, The Elohim before whom my fathers Abraham and Ishak walked.
Yes.
The Elohim who has fed me all my life, long to this day. The messengers who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the youth. And let my name be called upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Ishak, and let them increase to a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Jehoshaphat saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it was evil in his eyes. And he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from the head of Ephraim to the head of Manasseh. And Jehoshaphat said to his father, Not so, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son. I know. He also becomes a people, and he also is great.
Listen.
And yet his younger brother is greater than he, and his seed is to become the completeness of the nation.
His seed is to become all nations, tribes, and tongues. His seed is to become the completeness of the nations. Ephraim became firstborn. He is Adam. He is mankind. He became firstborn. Why? Because he was just like his daddy. He was just like his daddy, Yahudah, who was just like his daddy, Yahudah, who was just like his daddy, Yitzchak, who was just like his daddy, Ephraim, who ultimately was just like our father, Yahudah. If we are born from him, Yahudah, you just like him. If you are born from him, you'll walk like him. You won't walk according to the flesh. You'll walk like him. You'll walk and look and talk just like your daddy. You'll be his firstborn son. Ephraim, nevertheless, Ephraim became firstborn because he was more like his father, Yahudah, than Manasseh was. He had more of the characteristics and traits of Yahudah than Manasseh did. He looked more like Yahudah than Manasseh did. And thus it is said here that he is now firstborn, and his seed shall become the completeness of the nations. His seed shall become every nation, tribe, and tongue. Come on, read for us, little one.
Yeah, Revelation 7, 9 through 17.
Going back to Revelation 7 now, and reading now verses 9 through 17. Revelation 7 now, reading verses 9 through 7. Revelation 7, reading verses 9 through 17. In Revelation 7, verses 1 through 8, Yahudah gets up out of here. Because Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Yes, they do. Yahudah goes first. 144,000 Yahudim go first and are brought to the mountain first. Are brought to the mountain or brought to the party first. Because little buddy is still a little buddy. He's still a child. He's still walking according to his flesh. He ain't ready yet to be invited to this party. But he will be ready after he's been washed in the fires of the great tribulation. After he's been chastised a while. After this child has been chastised a while. After Ephraim, the younger son, the little buddy, has been chastised a while, and the folly has been driven from him, then he will be ready to be invited to the party. But Yahudah, you got to walk like the elder brother. And to walk like the elder brother means to walk according to the Ruach and not according to the flesh. If you walk according to the flesh, you're a child. To walk according to the Ruach is to walk as an adult. It is to walk in power. It is to walk in authority. It is to walk as one grown. It is to be a living Torah, a living menorah. It is to be a light amongst the nations, to draw them out of darkness into its marvelous light during this Muadah, to perhaps save some from the hour of trial which is soon to come upon the earth. Now here, 1 through 8, Revelation 7 verses 1 through 8, the elder brother, he's gone now. In Revelation 14, we find him brought to the mountain, no different than before. Being brought out of Egypt and being brought to his Kadesh mountain to worship him, and then being brought back to the land. In accordance with Zechariah chapter 12 and 2 Baruch and Ezekiel 38 and 39, being brought back to the land where we will be kept safe from the hour of trial. Then, after the great distress now, we find the younger brother, the completeness of the nations, every nation, tribe, and tongue. After little buddy, after the child has been chastised and after the folly has been driven from him, we find him now in Revelation 7 verses 9 through 17 coming out of the nations. We find now two sticks, Judah, the older brother, and Ephraim, the younger brother, now becoming one. Come on, read for us, little one.
After this, I looked and saw a great crowd, which no one was able to count, out of all nations and tribes and peoples and tongues.
By the way, Ephraim is not listed in the 144,000. Neither Ephraim nor Dan is listed in the 144,000. This is Ephraim. This is little buddy. This is the younger son who has now had the folly driven from him with the rod of correction in the form of the fires of the great distress. Come on, read, little one.
Standing before the throne and before the Lamb, dressed in white robes and palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, saying, Deliverance belongs to our Elohim, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. And all the messengers stood around the throne, and the elders and the 4 living creatures, and fell on their faces before the throne, and worshipped Elohim, saying, Amen. The blessing and the esteem, and the wisdom and the thanksgiving, and the respect and the power and the might to our Elohim forever and ever. Amen. And one of the elders responded, saying to me, Who are these dressed in white robes, and where did they come from? And I said to him, Master, you know. And he said to me, These are those coming out of the great distress.
That's the little buddy. Come on.
Having washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
Having the folly driven out of them. Read.
Because of this, they are before the throne of Elohim, and serve him day and night in his dwelling place. And he who sits on the throne shall spread his tent over them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun strike them, nor any heat. Because the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne shall shepherd them, and lead them to fountains of waters of life. And Elohim shall wipe away every tear from their eyes.
Yahudah, if you've received breath, walk as one grown. Walk as an adult. Walk in thy calling. Walk in thy calling and be a servant of reconciliation. If you've received breath, if you've received the bread of life, if you've received the Lakam Shamayim, the children's bread, the Ruach HaKadosh, walk as one grown. I'll be left with little buddy. I'll be left with little buddy to be chastised and disciplined so that the folly is driven from you because you're walking according to your flesh. I'll be left in the fires of the great tribulation. Be found well doing, Yahudah, walking in thy calling, walking as one grown. Be found well doing, lest you hear the words, bind this wicked and lazy servant hand and foot, and cast him into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Here we find Ephraim, the completeness of the nations, every nation, tribe, and tongue. Little buddy, the younger son, the child, the one walking according to the flesh, coming out of the great distress now, having received the rod of discipline, and having now being corrected, and now walking uprightly, walking straight, walking as a good son, walking now as one grown, no longer walking as one according to the flesh, but now walking as one grown according to the Ruach. But the older brother, the one grown, the elder Ak, the master is coming soon. He's coming soon. Hear him. Hear him. He's coming soon to get his elder son. He's coming soon to get Yahudah. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. The elder one, the one grown, the one not walking according to the flesh. The one walking according to Ruach. He's coming to get him. And after the great distress, then 2 sticks, Ephraim and Yahudah, will become one, and we will become one nation once again. After the great distress. Come on, read for us, little one.
Ezekiel 37, 1 through 23.
Ezekiel, Yakaskal, 37, verses 1 through 23. Yakaskal. Yakaskal, chapter 37, Ezekiel, chapter 37, verses 1 through 23. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little, walk in thy calling. Yahudah goes first, the elder brother, the one that is grown, walking in his calling. He goes first. Then Ephraim. Then the completeness of the nations. Then every nation, tribe, and tongue will come out of the fires of the great distress. Then, and only then, will two sticks become one when Ephraim comes home to join Judah, who's already in the land, who's already there. Ezekiel, Yahudah, chapter 37, verses 1 through 23. Come on, read for us, little one.
The hand of Yahuwah was upon me, and took me out by the Ruach of Yahuwah, and set me down in the midst of the valley, and it was filled with bones. And he made me pass among them all around, and see, there were very many on the surface of the valley, and see, they were very dry. And he said to me, Son of man, would these bones live? And I said, O Master Yahuwah, you know. Again he said to me, prophesy to these bones, and you shall say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus said the Master Yahuwah to these bones, see, I am bringing into you a Ruach, and you shall live. And I shall put sinews on you and bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put a Ruach in you, and you shall live. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah. And I prophesied as I was commanded. And as I prophesied, there was a noise, and there was a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And I looked and saw sinews and flesh come upon them, and skin covered them, but there was no Ruach in them. He then said to me, prophesy to the Ruach, prophesy, son of man, and you shall say to the Ruach, thus saith the Master Yahuwah, come from the four winds, O Ruach, and breathe on these killed ones, so that they live.
Matthew chapter 24. Come on, read.
And I prophesied as he commanded me, and the Ruach came into them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet, a very great army. And he said to me, Son of man, these
every
bones
nation, tribe, and tongue. Come on.
Are all the house of Yasharal.
Yes.
See, they say, our bones are dry, our expectancy has perished, and we ourselves have been cut off. Therefore prophesy, and you shall say to them, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, O my people, I am opening your burial sites, and shall bring you up from your burial sites.
The first resurrection. We just read this in Revelation 7, 9 through 17. Come on, read.
And shall bring you into the land of Yasharal, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah.
This is every nation, tribe, and tongue, a very vast army joining Yahudah. Come on, read.
When I open your burial sites, my people, and bring you up from your burial sites, and I shall put my Ruach in you, and you shall live, and I shall settle you in your own land, and you shall know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken, and I have done it, declares Yahuwah. And the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, come on. And you, son of man, read. Take a stick for yourself and write on it, for Yahudah and for the children of Yasharal, his companions.
Come on, and for the children of Yasharal, his companions. We will have companions, Yahudah. This is why we must stand in Ruach as grown men, so that they will attach themselves to us as companions to perhaps save them from the hour of trial. Come on, read, little one.
Then take another stick and write on it, for Yahudah, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Yasharal, his companions.
Barak Yahuwah, every nation, tribe, and tongue, his companions. Read.
Then bring them together for yourself into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand. And when the children of your people speak to you, saying, won't you show us what you mean by these? Say to them, thus saith the Master Yahuwah, read. See, I am taking the stick of Yahudah, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Yasharal, his companions, and I shall give them unto him with the stick of Yahudah, and make them one stick. Yes. And they shall be one in my hand. Yes. And the stick on which you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. And speak to them, thus saith the Master Yahuwah. Listen. See, I am taking the children of Yasharal. I'm taking you, Ephraim, the children of Yasharal. Read. From among the nations. From among the nations. You come later, little buddy. From among the nations, read. Wherever they have gone. Wherever they have gone. And shall gather them from all around. Yes. And I shall bring them into their land. And I shall bring them into the land, read. And I shall make them one nation in the land. And I shall make them one nation in the land. on the mountains of Yasharal.
Yes.
And one sovereign shall be sovereign over them all.
Yes.
And let them no longer be two nations.
Yes.
And let them no longer be divided into two reigns.
Yes.
And they shall no longer defile themselves with their idols.
Yes.
Nor with their disgusting matters.
Yes.
Nor with any of their transgressions.
Yes.
And I shall save them from all their dwelling places in which they have sinned. And I shall cleanse them, and they shall be my people, and I be their Elohim.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. You come later, little buddy, to join the older brother who's already in the land. From every nation, tribe, and tongue, from the four winds. You come later, little buddy. The message to you, Yahudah, this day, grow up now or grow up later, but you're going to grow up. Grow up now and walk in your calling, or grow up with little buddy later on after you've been chastised a little while. But you're going to grow up. If you've received this breath, if you've received the children's bread, Yahudah, walk in that calling. Be found well doing, because Yahudah goes first. And then Ephraim will come out the nations after he's been chastised a while, after the folly has been driven from him. Then Ephraim will join the elder brother, and two sticks will become one. Get some understanding and get some urgency in you, and stop walking as a child according to your flesh and walk according to Ruach, and allow the master to use you as a servant of reconciliation. Walk in that calling. The season is coming to an end. The season is closing. Be found well doing and trustworthy over a few things, so that the master will make you a ruler over much. Yahudah goes first, and he's coming soon. He's coming soon. Hear him. Hear him. He's coming soon to gather the elder son, to bring us to his Kadush mountain and then into the land. He's coming very soon. Very soon. Very soon. Hear him. Hear him. He's coming soon, Yahudah. Very soon, to gather his elder son, to bring us to his Kadush mountain to praise him. Yes, Yahudah does praise. Oh, no one praises like Yahudah. To bring us to his Kadush mountain, to give us a song that no one else can sing, and to prepare us, and then to send us into the land. To send us into the land, to make us perhaps a walking stick, a Shabbat, an instrument of war, Barak Yahuwah, a melting pot, as it reads in Zechariah chapter 12, a melting pot, a punishing rod, a instrument of war, Barak Yahuwah. Yahudah, his elder son. Yahudah has always been a warrior. Yahuwah has always been one willing to fight. So if you're laying down now not willing to fight, you're not willing to fight that which is unseen and that which is seen, walking in your flesh, you ain't Yahudah. You ain't Yahudah. You are not Yahudah. Yahudah is willing to fight. Yahudah is willing to fight. Yahudah is like his grandfather, Yasha'al. Even if Yahudah has to limp in, Yahudah will go into battle limping. Yahudah is full grown. Yahudah does not make excuses. Yahudah is walking in his calling now as an adult, being a light in the nations, being a light amongst the nations, understanding his calling and his purpose, which is to be an instrument, which is to be an earthen vessel, understanding that the master desires to reconcile Adam, all mankind, back to himself. Thus it is written in Zechariah 8:23 that 10 men from every nation will grab the garments of a Yahudah, saying, hey, let us go with you, for we have heard that you know the way. Be a Yahudi. Be grown up and walk in Ruach. Be a light amongst the nations and walk in that calling. He's coming to get you soon. Be found well doing when he comes. Yahudah goes first. Come on, read for us, little one.
1 Corinthians 13:11.
1 Corinthians 13, verse 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. Reading verse 11. Come on, read, little one.
When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Yes.
I thought as a child.
Yes.
I reasoned as a child.
Yes.
But when I became a man,
yes,
I did away with childish matters.
Judah, Yahudah, it's time to put away childish things and become men and to walk in your calling. According to Ruach, you're not a man if you're not walking in Ruach. If you're walking in your flesh, Yahudah, you're still little buddy. You're a child. You're a child. It's time. The window is closing. The doors of the ark are closing. It's time to walk in your calling, to walk as an adult. He's coming for his eldest son real soon. Real soon. Please hear him. Hear him. He has spoken to us that Yahudah goes first. He has spoken these words that Yahudah goes first. And he has spoken that he is coming soon to gather his children, to gather his elder son, to bring us to his Kadosh mountain. Those who are sealed, Sion, who are sealed with the Ruach HaKadosh, who are dwelling places, who have received breath and who have found well-doing, walking in thy calling, drawing 10 men to grab your garment, begging, let me go with you, because I can see that you know the way. I can see that you know the way. The ark before the flood was big enough for all the people of the earth to fit on it. It was big enough for all of them to get on it. They made the conscious choice to walk as children. And there were only 8 righteous beings who walked as adults. And in this season, there's another remnant within the remnant. There's another remnant who are walking as adults, who are walking in righteousness, who are walking in perfection, who are walking according to Ruach, who are walking as grown folk, who are walking in their callings. As Noach and Methuselah did for 120 years. Walked in their callings as full-grown men. And thus being rescued and saved from the hour of trial, which was coming upon the earth in that season. It's time to put away childish things, Yahudah. It's time to put away childish things. It's time out for envyings and grumblings and slanderings. It's time out, Yahudah. It's time out for you walking in your wicked, wretched pride. It's time, Yahudah, for you to put others first before you. Get out of your flesh. Quit throwing temper tantrums. Put away childish things. Put away childish things. Walk as an adult in Ruach and walk in thy calling. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. Read for us, little one.
We have Hebrews 5, 1 through 14.
Hebrews, Abarim chapter 5, verses 1 through 14. Hebrews, Abarim chapter 5, verses 1 through 14. Stop walking according to the lust of your flesh. That's what a child does. A child simply wants what it wants, as the flesh simply wants what it wants. If you've received breath, you no longer have to walk as a child. You are under no more obligation to walk as a child and to throw temper tantrums. You don't have to. Walk as an adult and be saved from the hour of trial. Walk in that call and allow the Master to save others through you from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon the earth. Hebrews, chapter 5, verses 1 through 14. Verses 1 through 14. Beginning at verse 1. Come on, read for us, little one.
For every priest taken from among men is appointed on behalf of men in matters relating to Elohim, to offer both gifts and offerings for crime, being able to have a measure of feeling for those not knowing and being led astray, since he himself is also surrounded by weakness. And on account of this, he has to offer for crimes, as for the people, so also for himself. And no one obtains this esteem for himself, but he who is called by Elohim, even as Aharon also was. So also the Mashiach did not extol himself to become high priest, but it was he who said to him, You are my son today, I have brought you forth. And he also says in another place, You are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and petitions with strong crying and tears to him who was able to save him from death, and was heard because of his reverent fear, though being a son. He learned obedience by what he suffered, and having been perfected, he became the causer of everlasting deliverance to all those obeying them, having been designated by Elohim a high priest, according to the order of Melchizedek, concerning whom we have much to say and hard to explain, since you have become dull of hearing. For indeed, although by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the first elements of the words of Elohim, and you have become such as need milk and not solid food. For everyone partaking of milk is inexperienced in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food is for the mature, whose senses have been trained by practice to discern both good and evil.
Yahudah. Graduate from the milk. Eat the solid food. Eat the bread of life. Eat the children's bread. Eat the Ruach HaKadosh. And walk as an adult. Walk as an adult. Some of you ought to be teachers. Not all of you are teachers, because not many of us should become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter or harsher judgment. He has not called us all to teach. To teach, you must be anointed to teach. To teach his righteous Torah, you must be anointed to teach his righteous Torah. We're not all called, we're not all anointed to teach his righteous Torah. But if you've received bread, you've been anointed to do something. Whether you've been anointed to sing, or whether you've been anointed to prophesy, or whether or not you've been anointed to serve, or whether or not you've been anointed to heal, or whether or not whatever it is, if you've received breath, if you've received Ruach, you've received an anointing to do something. You've received breath and anointing to do something in this season, to be lights in the midst of the nations, to perhaps draw them out of darkness into its marvelous light, and to perhaps save them from the hour of trial. Yahudah, quit behaving as children. The hour draws near. Yahudah goes first. Stop behaving as children. And this is for whomever has ears to hear, and eyes to see, and a heart to understand. Because if you hear and you see and you understand and you receive this breath, it's for you. It's for you. You don't have to remain little buddy. You can grow up right now, little buddy. You can grow up now and begin to operate in your calling. You can grow up now. You don't have to be left to the hour of trial to receive the chastening rod of our Father, to drive the folly out of you. Grow up, Yahudah. Walk in that calling. Yahudah is for grown folk. Yahudim are grown folk. Only grown folk are going to Mount Zion. Little buddy's going to remain behind. Put away the milk, Yahudah. Put away the works of the flesh. Walk in that calling and be found well doing. Be found well doing. Be found a servant of reconciliation, drawing the nations out of darkness into his marvelous light. Give us another precept, little one.
Luke 1, the whole chapter.
Luke chapter 1 in its entirety. Luke chapter 1 in its entirety. How are we looking for time, little one?
1:35.
Luke chapter 1 in its entirety. Yahudah goes first, and he's coming soon, very soon, to gather his elder son, to gather the grown son who's walking according to Ruach, who is being a servant of reconciliation, who's being a light in the midst of the Gentiles, a living menorah, who is being an example, a tangible example in righteousness of what it looks like to be righteous, of what it looks like to be in covenant with Yahuwah Al-Yun. He's grown. He's fully grown. Fully grown. He's the elder brother. Walking, he's fully grown. Not walking as a child in temper tantrums, not walking according to his flesh. He is sealed with the seal of the living Elohim, which is the Ruach HaKadosh. Having received the bread of life, having received the children's bread, becoming a living tabernacle, becoming a living stone, following the Lamb's voice wherever he goes, having no falsehood being found upon our lips, turning neither to the right or to the left, walking upright and perfect before our Elohim and before men, recognizing the plan and the purpose and the calling and the mantle that has been placed upon our lives, walking as full-grown adults, walking circumspect before our Elohim and before men. Luke chapter 1 in its entirety, beginning at verse 1. Come on, read for us, little one.
Since many have indeed taken in hand to set in order an account of the matters completely confirmed among us, as those who from the beginning were eyewitnesses and servants of the word delivered them to us, it seemed good to me as well, having followed up all these matters exactly from the beginning, to write to you an orderly account, most excellent Theophilus, that you might know the certainty of these words which you were taught. There was in the days of Herodes, the sovereign of Yahudah, a certain priest named Zechariah, of the division of Abiah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aharon, and her name was Elisheba. And they were both righteous before Elohim, blameless, walking in all the commands and righteousness of Yahuwah. And they had no child, because Elisheba was barren, and both were advanced in years. And it came to be that while he was serving as priest before Elohim, in the order of his division, according to the institute of the priesthood, he was chosen by lot to burn incense when he went into the dwelling place of Yahuwah.
Two righteous people, Yahudim, walking as adults, walking perfectly before the Master. Yahudim, walking as adults. Come on, read.
And the entire crowd of people was praying outside at the hour of incense. And the messenger of Yahuwah appeared to him, standing on the right side of the slaughter place of incense. And when Zechariah saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the messenger said to him, Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elisheba shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Yahuchanan, and you shall have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great before Yahuwah, and shall drink no wine and strong drink at all, and he shall be filled with the Kadosh Ruach, even from his mother's womb. And he shall turn many of the children of Yasharal to Yahuah their Elohim. And he shall go before him in the Ruach and power of Eliyahu, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the insight of the righteous.
Barak Yahuwah.
To make ready a people prepared for Yahuwah. And Zechariah said to the messenger, But what shall I know this? By what? For I am old, and my wife advanced in years. And the messenger answering said to him, I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of Elohim, and was sent to speak to you and to announce to you this good news. But see, you shall be silent and unable to speak until the day this takes place, because you did not believe my words, which shall be filled in their appointed time. And the people waited for Zechariah and marveled at his delay in the dwelling place. And when he came out, he was unable to speak to them. And they recognized that he had seen a vision in the dwelling place, for he was beckoning to them and remained dumb. And it came to be, as soon as the days of his service were completed, he went away to his house. And after those days his wife Elisheba conceived, and she hid herself 5 months, saying, Yahuwah has done this for me in the days when he looked upon me, to take away my reproach among men. And in the 6th month the messenger of Gabriel was sent by Elohim to a city of Galal near Nazareth, to a maiden engaged to a man whose name was Yahudah of the house of Daud, and the maiden's name was Mariam. And the messenger coming to her said, Greetings, favorite one, the master is with you. Blessed are you among women. But she was greatly disturbed at his words and wondered what kind of greeting this was. And the messenger said to her, Do not be afraid, Mariam, for you have found favor with Elohim. And see, you shall conceive in your womb, and shall give birth to a son, and call his name Yahusha. He shall be great, and shall be called the son of Yahuwah, and Elohim shall give him the throne of his father Daud. And he shall reign over the house of Yaakov forever, and there shall be no end to his reign. And Mariam said to the messenger, How shall this be, since I do not know a man? And the messenger answering said to her, The Kadush Ruach shall come upon you, and the power of Yahuwah shall overshadow you. And for that reason the Kadush one born of you shall be called son of Elohim. And see, Elisheba, your relative, she has also conceived a son in her own age. And this is now the 6th month to her who was called barren, because with Elohim no matter shall be impossible. And Mariam said, See the female servant of Yahuwah, let it be to me according to your word. And the messenger went away from her. And Mariam arose in those days and went into the hill country with haste to a city of Yahudah, and entered into the house of Zechariah and greeted Elisheba. And it came to be, when Elisheba heard the greeting of Mariam, that the baby leaped in her womb. And Elisheba was filled with the Kadush Ruach, and called out with a loud voice and said, Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And who am I that the mother of my master should come to me? For look, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who believed, for that which Yahuwah has said to her shall be accomplished. And Mariam said, My being makes Yahuwah great, and my Ruach has rejoiced in Elohim my Savior, because he looked on the humiliation of his female servant. For look, from now on all generations shall call me blessed, for he who is mighty has done wonders for me. And Kadush is his name, and his compassion is from generation to generation to those who revere him. He did mightily with his arm. He scattered the proud in the thought of their hearts. He brought down rulers from their thrones and exalted the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good items, and the rich he has sent away empty. He sustained Yasharal his servant in remembrance of his compassion, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever. And Mariam stayed with her about 3 months and returned to her home. And the time was filled for Elisheba to give birth, and she bore a son. And her neighbors and relatives heard how Yahuwah had shown great compassion to her, and they rejoiced with her. And it came to be on the 8th day that they came to circumcise the child, and they were calling him by the name of his father Zechariah. And his mother answering said, Not so, but he shall be called Yahuchanan. And they said to her, there's no one among your relatives who is called by this name. Then they motioned to his father what he would like him to be called. And having asked for a writing tablet, he wrote, saying, YAHUAH'S is his name. And they all marveled. And at once his mouth was opened, and his tongue loosed, and he was speaking, praising Elohim. And fear came on all those dwelling around them. And all these matters were spoken of in all the hill country of Yahudah. And all who heard them kept them in their hearts, saying, what then shall this child be? And the hand of Yahudah was with him. And Zechariah his father was filled with the Kadosh Ruach, and prophesied, saying, blessed be Yahudah, Elohim of Yasharal, for he did look upon and work redemption for his people, and has raised up a horn of deliverance for us in the house of his servant Daud, as he spoke by the mouth of his Kadosh prophets from of old, deliverance from our enemies and from the hand of all those hating us, to show compassion toward our fathers, and to remember his Kadosh covenant, an oath which he swore to our father Abraham, to give us, being delivered from the hand of our enemies, to serve him without fear, in set apartness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. And you, child, shall be called prophet of Yahudah Al-Yun, for you shall go before the face of Yahudah to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of deliverance to his people by the forgiveness of their sins, through the tender compassion of our Elohim, with which the daybreak from on high has looked upon us, to give light to those who sit in darkness and the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of shalom. And the child grew and became strong in Ruach, and was in the desert until the day of showing himself openly to Yasharal.
And the child grew, Barak Yahudah, and became strong in Ruach, and became strong in Ruach, and began to walk in his calling. He began to walk in his calling. He had a special purpose, and that purpose was to prepare the way of the master. I don't know about you, but I've been sent to prepare the way of my master, to prepare his sheep for his return, to walk as an adult, to walk as a Yahudi, as my ancestor Yahudah, to walk as a Yahudi, to walk as an adult, walking holy in my calling, preparing my master's sheep for his return. Preparing my master's sheep for his return. I'm going to ask you to read one more precept, little one.
Okay.
And then we're going to end this right here. But we are called now to walk as adults. We have a plan. We have a purpose. We are to walk as adults to prepare the way of our master, to prepare his sheep for his return. To prepare sheep for his return. And in order to do this, we must walk as adults, and we must be found well doing. We must be found well doing. Malachi chapter 4, little one. Malachi chapter 4. Beloved son, can you give me my bongos? Malachi chapter 4.
Malachi chapter 4.
Begin at verse 1.
For look, the day shall come, burning like a furnace, and all the proud and every wrongdoer shall be stubble. And the day that shall come shall burn them up, said Yahudah of hosts, which leaves to them neither root nor branch. But to you who revere my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings. And you shall go out and leap for joy like calves from the stall. And you shall trample the wrongdoers, for they shall be ashes under the sole of your feet. On the day that I do this, said Yahudah of hosts. Remember the Torah of Masha.
Listen, nations, remember the Torah of Masha. Read.
My servant, which I commanded him in Korah for all Yasharal, laws and right ruling. See, I am sending you Eliyahu the prophet.
See, I am sending you all Yahudah the Nabi. Now, this is after Yahudah. This is after Yahudah. If you go into a messianic assembly on their Passover Seder, if you go to a Passover Seder of those who practice Judaism, you will find an empty seat there. That seat is for the return of all Yahu, Ruach all Yahu, to prepare the way of the master, to prepare his sheep for his return. We must walk as Yahudah. We must grow strong in Ruach. We must grow strong in Ruach, preparing the way of our master's return, being found well doing. Being found well doing. So that we will be counted worthy as a Yahudim. as Yahudah is going first. Come on, read, little one.
Before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahuwah. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with utter destruction.
Stop there, Barak Yahuwah. He would turn the hearts of the fathers back to the children, and the hearts of the children back to the fathers, lest he come with utter destruction. In other words, he would turn their wicked hearts back to Torah. Yahudah goes first. Yahudah goes first. He's coming to get his eldest son, his full-grown son, whom he has found well-doing, with a reward in his hand, to reward us according to our works, who have walked in our callings, being lights in the midst of the nations, drawing the Gentiles, drawing the nations out of darkness into his marvelous light, so that 10 men from every nation would grab the garment of a Yahudah, saying, let us go with you, because we have heard that Yahuwah is with you. We have heard that Yahuwah is with you. Come with me to Zion. Come with me to Zion. Come with me to Zion. Behold, behold, look, our sovereign comes. Come with me to Zion. Come with me to Zion. Come with me to Zion. Behold, look, our sovereign comes. Come with me. Come with me to Zion. Come with me to Zion. Come with me to Zion. Behold, look, our sovereign comes. We will sing on Zion. We will sing on Zion. We will sing on Zion. Behold, look, our sovereign comes. We will sing on Zion. We will sing on Zion. We will sing on Zion. Behold, our sovereign comes. Hallelujah. Sing hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Sing hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Sing hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Behold, look, our sovereign comes. Sing hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Sing hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Sing hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Behold, our sovereign comes. Barak Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Thank you, Master Yahuwah. Thank you, Master Yahuwah, for giving me the strength. Please mute your mics, my sparkles.
Yes,
Thank you,
Master.
Master Yahuwah,
Yes, Master.
for giving me the strength to bring forth this word to your people.
Yes, Master.
I pray that this word has gone forth like a hammer that shatters across the whole of the earth. I pray that it has broken bonds and chains and shattered strongholds, Master, and shaken your children such that they will come out of their slumber, yes, such that they will come out of their sleep. Because in your words you have spoken to your servant, those that slumber, they will die. If they are slumbering when you come, they will die. If they are not found well doing and walking in their calling, if they're not being adults and walking as children, they will die. They will be left with the children to suffer the fires of the great distress. It is my prayer that you've shaken your children and that you've caused them to fall before your feet shamefully with their clothes being shaken from them. The place at your feet where there is covering for their shame and their nakedness, and the place where there is forgiveness for their crimes. It is my prayer, my Master, that not one word that has been spoken from the lips and the mouth of your servant has fallen to the earth, has fallen to the ground void, but that it has been that it has gone forth to accomplish that which you have set it forth to do. Yes, it is my prayer, my Master, that not one word has fallen by the wayside, that not one word has fallen on shallow ground, and that not one word has fallen amongst thorns, my Master, but that your people are hearing your words, that they are hearing and taking heed to your warning and to your words, Master, understanding that I am but flesh and blood, I am but an earthen vessel, but you speak through me, that your Ruach resides in me, that living water flows from my belly, and that they are not my words, Master, that they are yours. I'm just a lowly, humble dirt vessel that you have chosen to speak through. It's my prayer. It is my prayer, even if they, Master, it is my prayer, even if some cannot heed instructions. Even if some cannot heed instructions, Master. It is my prayer, my Master, that your word has shaken them, has broken up fallow ground, yes, such that this seed, this word, will be planted in fertile soil, fertilized soil, such that your living water will come and water that seed, so that it grows up to become a mighty tree, producing the fruit that leads to everlasting life. In the set apart name, in the Kadosh name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I pray. So be it. So be it. So be it. For those of you who are on YouTube, once again, we're grateful that the Master has sent you our way. We're grateful that you have joined us on this day. We pray that you are heeding the words, that you are heeding the instructions, that we didn't quite get to Al Isha again. We will continue discussing Al Isha perhaps on the fourth day, who is another example of a young man, a young boy who began walking with Al Yahu as a young boy, following him and learning the ways of Yahudah. But when he became a man, Al Yahu was taken up in a chariot of fire, and he immediately began to walk in his calling. He immediately began to walk as a grown-up, as a full-grown man, walking in his calling. Perhaps, Yahuwah willing, will finish this discussion and finish looking at Al Isha, commonly called Elisha, on the fourth day. But we pray thus far that you have been edified, that you have been convicted, and that you've been shaken, that you've been encouraged even to walk in your calling, not as a child, not in your flesh, but as one full grown. Until the next time, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus you shall put my name on the children of Yasha'al, and I myself shall barak them. So be it, so be it, so be it. Shalom.